The rumor mill is churning, and the word on the street is that Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, may resign as early as today. Now, is this social media viral wishful thinking, or is this journalists in lockstep with the Liberal Party trying to wag the dog? Ladies and gents, welcome back. Now, we've heard a lot of this on social media, if you're paying attention, the story of Justin Trudeau's possible resignation coming as early as today or as late as Wednesday this week. Now, I'm skeptical on this story. Mark me as, I don't know, maybe just a little jaded from the information that we've seen on the internet in the past several years. But this is kind of where my thinking is going. Let me bring you along with me on this story. So we have breaking: Justin Trudeau expected to announce a resignation as Prime Minister of Canada by Wednesday. Many outlets putting this out there. PMO staffers to meet Monday as Trudeau's future remains unclear. We have, even from the Toronto Star, Justin Trudeau expected to announce a resignation as early as Monday. And even we've got good hopes here. The Canadian dollar's even rallying on this news. That's interesting how this all works. But it reminded me really of this old clip from 6 years ago when we saw all the news conglomerates getting together for one solid message.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about the trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media.
Oh boy, has it ever become so common on social media. But here's the reality of the situation. We have all of these places reporting on the same thing. They're all getting it from one source. And where is the main source? Chase that source down to its origin, and we get to the Globe and Mail. Globe and Mail is reporting on this, saying Trudeau expected to announce a resignation before National Caucus meeting on Wednesday. Where is this information coming from? Well, you guessed it, an anonymous group of sources. That's right. Justin Trudeau is expected to announce as early as Monday that he will resign as Liberal Party leader. 3 sources said Sunday, just 3 sources. We're not going to name our sources because, well, and I get it. I do understand you don't want to out your sources, but is this real? That's what you have to really ask at this moment, because we know what's going on with the Liberal Party. The Liberal Party really wants to keep their jobs. They want to keep their jobs because, well, they've learned from their constituents that it looks like it doesn't matter if they like their MP or not in these different ridings. They have said across the board, if Justin Trudeau is the party leader, we will not be voting Liberal. So this is, and why the timing? Well, the timing is they tried to push back the pensions eligibility, or they tried to put, they don't want the pension of eligibility of a number. I believe around 70 different MPs will be eligible for their pension after the date of the next scheduled election. They were going to try to ride it out and push the date out. That got kiboshed. They're not allowed to do that. So now they're going for their next step in that direction. Let's push the Liberal leader out and hopefully win those elections. I doubt it's going to even happen, even if they got rid of Trudeau. But hey, they're going to try nonetheless. As the Prime Minister faces a caucus revolt and dismal public opinion polls that show that his party is likely to be swept out of power by Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives in a landslide victory. And we see this here in articles like this, saying from just about a week ago, the federal Liberals' New Year's Eve nightmare: party vote intent sinks to 16%. Trudeau's approval at all-time low. That's right, within his own party. That's where we're at for him. Now, the source stressed that they don't know definitely when Mr. Trudeau will announce his plans to leave, but they say that they expect it will happen before a key national caucus meeting on Wednesday. There's a lot of this language. We expect, it might, possibly, this kind of thing. This is a lot of people trying to determine in their heads what Trudeau is going to do based on their input into this, not based on where Trudeau actually lies. Now, this is the most interesting part about this. I don't think it's within his character, but I'll leave that one in the comment. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this and where this goes. The source stressed that they don't know. Yeah, exactly. They were not authorized to discuss this internal party matter. One of the sources who spoke recently to the Prime Minister said Justin Trudeau realizes he needs to make an announcement before he meets the Liberal caucus so he doesn't look like he was forced out by his own MPs. Well, I mean, we all know that to be the case. But in the reality of the situation is Pierre Poilievre has been addressing this, and it's an interesting conundrum because where does this move in Canada? He spoke recently with Dr. Jordan Peterson on the Daily Wired, not on a Canadian network, because you can't get good, real, authentic news in Canada, unfortunately. So we're turning to American outlets, which incidentally you're able to share on social media. Go figure. Bill C-18 from the Liberals that backfired on them. But Pierre had this to say about what's going to happen moving forward, or the possibilities of what might happen moving forward.
Non-confidence before he gets his pension, or at least he will not vote non-confidence in a way that sees the election happen before his pension kicks in. So we won't have an election before very late winter, early spring. Then there's the possibility that the Trudeau resigns and then goes to the Governor General and says we need to shut down Parliament, while the Liberal Party then chooses a new replacement, a Trudeau 2.0. Mm-hmm. And so there would be a leadership race. God knows how long that would drag on for.
You think approximately in March, no earlier than March as far as you can foresee?
Yeah, probably. And during which time we'd continue to flounder and twist in the wind. And by the way, the Liberal media is all saying, well, surely you wouldn't want to trigger an election during a Liberal leadership race. Excuse me, the Canadian people are not obliged, 41 million people are not obliged to wait around while this party sorts out its shit. Mm-hmm. These guys could have got rid of Trudeau a year and a half ago. Yes. They knew he was a disaster then. And now they say, well, we're low in the polls, so we have to get rid of him. Now, you didn't care when he was just depriving single mothers of food for their kids, or doubling housing costs, or unleashing crime in neighborhoods across the country. But now you're really concerned about getting rid of him because your poll numbers are down and you want to keep your job. Sorry, that's not a good reason to paralyze the entire country, in the face, by the way, of a major negotiation with the incoming U.S. president, who enters with a massive and powerful mandate, and a man who has proven that he can spot weakness from a mile away.
Absolutely can spot weakness a mile away. But it's created other issues in Parliament that you'll see moving forward here. Here's Gary Keller saying, Sunday night, parliamentary nerd alert. Here's a thread talking about even if the Prime Minister prorogues Parliament tomorrow, unless he or a successor goes to an election before March 31st, the government needs an interim supply before then, which could be a confidence vote. Otherwise, it runs out of money on April 1st. The House of Commons only sits every 26 days. It sits 26 days between now and March 31st, and only 6 days in March, which means it would need to pass an interim supply the week of March 16th. Only full week it sits in March. What is an interim supply? The Fed's fiscal year runs April 1st to March 31st, but the main estimates, which is the bulk of the federal government appropriations, only gets passed in June. So in order for the fund to fund the ops, all of the operations of government from April 1st to June, an interim supply bill is tabled. The bill passes the votes within the main estimates for each ministry in terms of 12ths or 12 months of the year. And that gets that'll get them to June. Without an interim supply, the government doesn't function, which means the Prime Minister cannot prorogue for months on end. This won't get pulled off. They need to sit down. They need to do this, and this isn't going to happen. And it's not unsimilar to the way the United States works. Now, somebody jumping in here saying this is somewhat false. It's not the United States, to which he replies, no, it doesn't. Why would a government bother seeking interim supply if we didn't need it? It happens every year before April. This is something that happens. There's about $20 billion that is non-statutory spending, which includes billions for operating expenditures that needs to be approved. So they'll have to sit down and do this. They can't just prorogue indefinitely, as what's been suggested by so many people. This is going to be another crisis that'll come up. Now, many commenting on this whole idea of Trudeau resigning. Andrew Coyne, who's notoriously become Trump derangement syndrome guy, representative for Canada. The scenario outlined by Bob's sources is utterly untenable. A lame duck leader remains in place while the party takes a leisurely 3 or 4 months choosing a new one, staving off a confidence vote by shuttering Parliament. It cannot be. Other people, Mark Nixon saying the Globe and Mail just released this article. I'll believe it when I see it. Stephen Taylor saying Trudeau's not resigning. It would be out of character for him. He'll make the caucus squirm and implicitly or behind closed doors dare them to defy him. He holds all the cards and they haven't shown any leverage. This is one thing that the article doesn't really get into, is the fact that Trudeau actually holds all the power here. The Liberal caucus and the way they've laid out the party and their politics is they don't actually have any means of forcing Trudeau to step down. And that's at the end of the day why I'm saying I doubt it's going to happen. Again, like Mark Nixon says, I'll believe it when I see it. It sounds like the media, the journalists, and the Liberal Party in lockstep trying to wag the dog, trying to make the scenario where Justin Trudeau will be forced to resign, but there isn't, again, no mechanism for him to do that. So they're trying to do it through the media, is what my assessment of this all is. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Do you think Trudeau genuinely would resign in this scenario? Do you think that there is actually some sort of pressure to force him to resign? Do you think he's just going to say, forget it, I'm the king of Canada and I'm going to stay in power as long as I choose to? Let me know in the comments down below and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.